Hello. Today is July 5th. Had to think about it. 2016. This is the second episode of my podcast, Who Asked You? I've been procrastinating on doing this for days now, but I decided it was time to finally do it. Sorry about these two glaring lights. The choices were pitch blackness or giant glares, so I just went with the glares. But we're going to get into some topics. Hopefully we'll just have a chill, fun little podcast. Next time I'll finally live stream it, as I wasn't in the mood to do it for the second episode. But I wanted to record this. I've wanted to record this for the last few days, and I wanted to do it earlier today, but there was some guy in our house installing sinks for like 5 hours, so I couldn't for most of the day, which was frustrating. And yeah, I've actually had an annoying last couple of days. I've had some breathing problems and stuff, and my job has been annoying. But I want to kick back and do this. What have I been doing lately? Let's see. I've been working on my singles month for my music. I'm working on one song a week, and I'm going to be releasing the first song on Thursday. Today is Tuesday. I'm pretty close to being done with that. Just got to record the two verses. I recorded the chorus and the bridge already, and all the music is made, so it's most of the way done. And as far as entertainment goes, I've been watching a new show on Netflix called Shameless. I highly recommend it. It's about this poor family, and there's this girl who has to take care of 5 kids and stuff. It's very interesting. I'm on the second season. I'm watching that the last couple of days. And yeah, I just constantly procrastinate on doing stuff. And I've had it in the back of my mind to do this podcast for a while. Just haven't gotten to it. So we're going to get into a plethora of topics. Some weird-ass ones. And it's going to be kind of a ranty podcast, actually. Although it might not get that ranty because I'm in a chill mood right now. So we'll just see what happens, I guess. But one thing I want to talk about, I had a physical, I think, a week ago tomorrow. And one thing came up in my head that I don't know if anyone's ever thought of before. I'm sure someone has, but I'm a little older now, so when I get physicals, I ask me all the questions that are kind of uncomfortable, like, do you do any hard drugs? Are you sexually active? All that. They take your parent out of the room and ask you all those questions. And then what they do is very traumatizing. The guy, he pulled my pants down and he, checked me up down there. So that was a little cringy, a little awkward of a moment. He was even like, oh, this might not be a favorite part of the day. But it got me to thinking, not that I think he's gay or anything, and there would be nothing wrong if he was gay, but can a doctor be gay? If they're checking on, looking at your private parts and stuff. It's same thing with a female doctor. Did they have to state that they're straight? To be able to do that stuff with someone of the same gender. I don't think they give male doctors to females and don't give what? Yeah, and they don't give female doctors to males. But if they're gay, would they switch that around? Or I don't know. Just something that came up in my head. I was wondering, could he be getting not that my dick is worth getting off on or anything, but could he be? That makes me a little uncomfortable, but it's not a big deal if he is anyway. So that's just a random thought that popped in my head that I don't know why I felt the need to ask on the podcast if if doctors can be gay. But just a random little thought to start this thing. So I want to talk a little bit about my writing and recording process with my music. It's the second episode. I've already mentioned a couple times that I make music. But I just want to talk about some of my problems with that, I guess. So I got into this actually a bit on the first episode. I go to write songs. And when I write a song, I obviously don't know if it's going to be good enough to record at first. So I'll write a whole song, and then I just have a standard in my head of what I want to live up to with it. And even if it's a good song, once I finish it, I'm just going to be this is a problem I've been running into lately, that it's not up to the standard, but I never write anything that's up to the standard. So I think I'm just fucked in that case. And then anything that does get to actual recording, I feel with on the production. So I don't know why I have this pressure in my head, because I don't really have any fans of my music. I guess not true, actually. There's 30 people on SoundCloud. That they're very cool. They wouldn't be watching this for any reason, but Um, I don't know what's happening for me with that, what that's all about. Just another little thing I wanted to bring up. Yeah, a couple short topics here at the beginning. I have three stories at the end, I guess, slash rants. Um, and one thing I haven't gotten to mention since the last podcast happened a few weeks ago now, but the Cavaliers, they won the finals somehow. I actually got a $40 T-shirt at the casino. Retarded expensive. Like, why was that $40? Probably because it's limited edition, and they could jip me for that now. I'll be able to get that for much cheaper in the future, but I bought it right when they won. So, anyway, yeah, I have a Cavs 2016 championship T-shirt. They came back 3-1, which is insane. Even I was like, not gonna happen. I almost stopped watching the series. I think in episode 1 I said I was making episode 1 during the beginning of Game 5 actually, but I got more hope as it went on. Just wanted to state on here that my prediction, I have it on record, was Cavs in 7. I was right. I don't know how, but I'm going to make sure I make a prediction on the finals every year from now on, because I was magically somehow actually right. Don't think I get any money for that or anything, because, I didn't predict. It's not like Super Bowl where you predict a score. Yeah, it's just predicting which team and how many games, but that's pretty impressive on my part. So just wanted to mention that. So now we're going to get into a couple of rants. Gotta take a deep breath for this part. Okay, so with stories. I have to get into a story to lead up to each of the rants. So, I was playing soccer at school. After lunch, we would go outside, me and a couple friends, and we would kick around the soccer ball. We were just playing around. We stood in a circle, and we had a good time usually. And there was this one kid there who took it a little seriously, as tends to happen. The rest of us just had fun with it, but he felt the need to get a little competitive with it, which is okay. That just makes it a little more fun sometimes. So I decided that I think they followed his lead a little bit. This one kid who got competitive about it. The rest of the kids, they started, as the days went on, to get a little more competitive themselves. So I saw this as a golden opportunity to mess with them, I guess you could say. So I would always start, when they would kick it to me, I would take the ball, I'd chuck it in the air. There's actually a whole other story that comes from that. I guess I'll get into that real quick. One of the last days of school, I chucked it in the air. And they would all just get really pissed off when I did that. I was obviously eliminated because we played elimination in the circle. But yeah, I chucked it all the way up to the 3rd floor of my school. And by the way, this soccer ball that we're playing with, it's a tiny, like, half a pound, a quarter of a pound rubber soccer ball. Could not harm a fly. When it went up past the 3rd floor window, and some pussy teacher called security, they came down, they started, like, if anyone ever throws that up again, I swear to God, it's gonna go down to the office. Like, some fat short guy came and started bitching at me about that. Sorry. There was an awkward moment of silence for like a whole minute last podcast because I thought my parents were coming down. I just get paranoid with that. So if I ever go quiet for a second, you'll know why. But back to the story. I never got in trouble. They didn't know it wasn't me. And I stopped doing it because I didn't want the kid to lose his soccer ball, even though you could buy another one of those for pennies. One time when I did this, he came up to me. He's kind of like a jacked kid. He shoved me full force, and he's like, "You're being a fucking jerk" or something. And I started, I didn't do anything at first, and then I was like, I think I called him like a fucking roid machine to friends afterwards, just little things I say about him. Nice things, pretty much. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly nice, but, and he got into it with me the next time. I didn't actually do it again or anything. Then he just started to be really beefed up about this, or we had a beef, I guess. He started to be jacked up about this. And my point is that it's a tiny little game. It's not that serious. And eventually what happened, he started to almost choke me out with this. I kind of shoved him off. But he was very forceful, and he would like spit everywhere. My point is that it's a fucking soccer game at like after lunch. It's not very serious. You have mental problems. This I want to. This is one of the shortest stories. It's pretty much it. I just wanted to get my point across there because that was something that pissed me off a while back that I felt like I wanted to talk about. I didn't have as much to talk about as I thought I did, but yeah, you need to not take sports that seriously. It's not even a real sport by any means, not close. And I don't know why kids. I guess they want to put a lot of emphasis into stuff that's not important because they don't have a lot of importance in their lives and they want to feel more important than they are. So I guess that was this kid's problem. If he took the soccer game really seriously, maybe something in his life would be more serious and he would actually be more important. So I didn't shove him back really. I didn't want him to fight me, but I kind of just like I made up a wall. I kind of went like that. The chicken thing to do. I wasn't gonna get into it with him over this, like, because it's not serious. It's a joke, but... So into my next rant. Well, that was barely a rant, but into my next story, I guess. So, I used to do concerts on YouNow, where I'm gonna be streaming this in the future. And I'm not doing these concerts anymore, because I decided they're not very fun for me. I don't get any fans from them or anything. I figured what's the point of doing them at this point? They used to be fun for me. I stopped doing them because they weren't so much anymore. But I was using the snowball microphone to rap on, and then I got this Yeti. It's pretty cool. It's a lot more high quality. The snowball mic I paid about $30 for, which is going to matter as we get a little more into the story. So this kid hits me up on Instagram. He's this kid I knew from about a year ago when I used to make some prank calls on YouNow. And he's asking me, he's saying he wants my snowball mic because he's going to start streaming. And I told him, I had said, since we used to be friends and stuff, I'd give him a deal on it. I said only 10 or 15 bucks. And he said he was going to, then I said I would send it to him. And he was like, okay. So we're cool up to that point. And then I told him it'd take about a week to get there. I'm going to pull up exactly what he said to me once we had our fight about this. And then, like 3 days later, he's texting me, or he's DMing me up on Instagram, and he's asking, where is it? And I'm like, yeah, I told you it was going to take about a week, so it's not there yet. He's like, okay. I could tell he's starting to get a little shady towards me. So he asked me again, probably another 2 days. I think it had been 5 days at this point. He's asking for the tracking number and stuff. And then an hour later or so, he's like, did you for real send it and not fucking with me? And I was like, yes, what is your problem? And he's like, I still don't have it. And I told him it's only been 5 days, said it'd take at least a week because we were pretty far away. I told him I'll cancel the order if you're just going to be a dick to me. And I thought he was probably trying to scam me because at one point he had tried to get cops sent to my house because of a prank call. So he's always been a little bit shady. And I kind of mentioned that once he was still bitching at me more. I'm like, I'm not sure I totally trust you about this. And I told him even $15 is cheap. If you're going to just keep being a jerk to me, I'll just give you an Amazon link. You could look at a snowball for yourself. It's not going to be ever that cheap. And he's like, oh, don't play me. And I don't think he's going to send the money. And he's getting up in my face about this. So I decided I was just going to cancel the order, which is what I did. And he was like, oh, I worked hard to get that money. I'm like, how the fuck did you work hard to get $15? Like, that's just insane. You can do a lemonade stand. You make that in an hour less. That's a little ridiculous. Like, that's a kind of a crybaby response. So I'll just read now what he eventually said to me. I said, he said, oh, it shouldn't take a week. So I said, okay, so maybe it got lost. Who knows? I was trying to get him off my back at this point. So what he said to me, he's like, first off, I felt like I was getting scammed. I know your bitch ass didn't send it all, no periods or commas, this entire thing, by the way. Also, I'm not worried. I was going to get one myself until I seen your video, but your bitch ass Gordon Ramsay look ass boy, so I know it wasn't going to get here, and you can't, and I mean can't cancel an order, dumbass pussy ass bitch. Bye, enjoy your quote unquote sent back mic, because I actually did cancel the order, and that you didn't even send it to me, so fuck off. I told him to talk to me when you finally grow the fuck up, and I did send him the mic, so he had a little tantrum. He's only like I think 12, so it doesn't shock me that he can't act professionally about this whole thing, which I shouldn't have expected he ever would. It's a tiny cheap mic, and he's getting all up in my face about that shit. There's really no reason for that. A little obnoxious. That was just another thing, another little story I wanted to tell of an asshole. So there's also one more thing that also pissed me off a little. This is the last real rant. It's another very small rant. Not that much to say about this. But I went up to the casino to eat with my parents, and we went into a restaurant. And I work in a restaurant, by the way, so I know how to do my stuff in there. Like I can watch people, see if they're doing their jobs right. I hate to sound pretentious, but and the hostess, she asked me if I wanted a kids menu. I'm 16. Kids menus are usually for like under 12. Just pissed me off. It's a little thing I wanted to mention, and the other thing I wasn't sure if people there were. Like it took some kid who was busing forever to get a table, which I just wanted to look like busted for him because I bus. But yeah, it seemed the people at that restaurant were. I think she was just being condescending to me because I think she knew that I was too old for a kids menu. By many years, I haven't been asked want a kids menu since like 2009. Man, so a little bitchy there. And it's the people at that place. I don't want to say they're incompetent, but you know, who knows? They might very well be. I'm not going to say what restaurant it is. They didn't do anything to piss me off that much. But I guess that's it for this podcast. Not a very long one, but I wanted to finally get one done. And it's just been something on my mind I wanted to do for a few days here, and something I can have off my chest now. Well, I hope you enjoyed the second episode of Who Asked You? I don't know when there will be another one. Like I said, this podcast is... Excuse me. This podcast is free form, meaning I do it whenever I want, whenever I feel I have the topics, and it's for whatever length of time, however long it lasts, whatever length of time I feel it should be, based on how many topics I have. But I hope you enjoyed this. We're at 17 minutes now, and I am going to go... I don't know what I'm going to go do. I guess I might even record the song now. I don't know if my parents are home, but if they are, it might be kind of hard for me to, because... It's kind of an intense song with like heavy flow and stuff. Spoiler alert. It's definitely a different style of my music. One problem I kind of have with it, I'm not sure the lyrics are super have a lot of substance. It's more like flow and just like something more like to work out to, I feel like probably. But I'm using this singles month thing to experiment a bit. So it's just me trying something new. It might not be exactly what you expect, but... Next week, there's always next week. Yeah, so bye.